welcome back to my channel. My name is Nancy. This is the Teacher Treasure Chest. So today I wanted to go over my weekend sales, and I'm going to include today, which is Monday, and today is August 18th. So I'm going to show you some sales that I had from Friday to Monday. Friday on eBay, I only sold $20. So that was kind of depressing, right? And I was like, okay, what's going on? But I was also getting sales on Poshmark. So I wasn't too worried about it because, you know, it's just a roller coaster. You just have to go with it. But then Saturday, sales shot up on eBay. And I sold $193. Sunday, $210, and today, which is Monday, $237. So I'm like, wow, you know, and the day is not even over yet. So I'm really excited that sales are coming back up on eBay. Maybe the summer slump is over. I didn't really have a horrible summer. You know, my sales were pretty consistent over the summer. Let me pull up my my spreadsheet here. Because, you know, people talk about summer slump, and I see it a little bit, but not that bad, really. So let's look at my sales. June, I sold, this is net profit. Well, let's include May. May, I sold $2,500 net profit. June, $2,366 net profit. And July, $2,500 net profit. So if you're looking back since the beginning of the year, my worst month was actually February. So I would say it's more like after Christmas slump and not summer slump. April, I sold $2,900. This is all net profit, not gross. So, you know, my sales are doing pretty well, and I'm excited to go into Q4 because, you know, I sell a lot of sweaters and coats and winter items. And so last October, I sold a lot. I did really well last October. Let me see what I made last October. Let me look at my spreadsheet. You know, I use a spreadsheet. I use My Reseller's Genie because I just haven't weaned off of the spreadsheet yet. I eventually will, but I like to see the spreadsheet. So let's look at last October. Last October, I sold $2,500. So, you know, that was pretty good. I was really impressed last October. Because then before that, you know, it was, you know, below that. But this year, you know, July is $2,500, which is really pretty good. I want to look at My Reseller's Genie. So let's talk about this past weekend. According to My Reseller's Genie, I'm including today, Friday and today, which is Monday. So I made a gross profit of $651, and that is 31 sales on, now that includes eBay, Poshmark. I even had a sale on Depop and one on Mercari, which has been dead for me. Depop and Mercari, you know, I still don't get that much sales on there, but you know, I keep listing because I'm also using, and I started using this July 26th. July 26th, I started using Nifty, and I love Nifty. I don't know how I lived without it before, but I did. So right now it's sharing my closet. It is relisting, delisting. It is when something sells, it delists off the platform. So I don't have to stress about selling, double selling on 2 different platforms, because that is the worst feeling in the world, to sell something on one platform and you already sold it on another. So this nifty program, and I don't, I have tried using others and I was not successful. Before I was using Flip, and Flip was good for the price, and Nifty costs more money, but it is better. It is way better. So it also does my drafts. So I upload the photos and it makes my drafts for me. So it's like my personal assistant that, I didn't even have to, hire to come in my house to help me. So yeah, it's making my drafts. It's delisting, relisting. It is increasing my sales because it is relisting stale items, and it is the sales detection thing, which is great, So anyway, it also has some analytics, which I haven't really messed around with a whole lot because I'm just getting started on Nifty. I've only been on a month. So I still am using My Reseller's Genie. I don't know if I'll ever stop using My Reseller's Genie because it's so powerful to help you look at your numbers. And it's really important to know where your numbers are. You need to know, is your sales decreasing? Are they increasing? What brands are selling? You can do that. You can see what brands are selling. You can see what category is selling. You can, just analyze everything. Like I'm looking at my numbers right now, and I will put a screenshot of my dashboard from My Reseller's Genie. But it is, it's showing me what my sales were this past weekend. Now, I even take it a step further by putting it into the spreadsheet, which again, I know I haven't gotten away from the spreadsheet yet, but it's a visual, and I can see, okay, this jacket sold for this much profit. I need to keep buying those jackets. I need to keep buying that brand. So I like using the spreadsheet. So let's talk about what sold this past weekend, beginning on Friday. I feel like even though it is 100 degrees here in Texas, there's people that are buying winter clothes because it can't be 100 degrees everywhere, or it could be, but I don't really know. I just know that people are preparing for winter, and that's a good thing. Now here in Texas, I can pick up a lot of that's my dog. I can pick up a lot of winter items because people don't need thick wool pants in Texas. You would die in Texas wearing thick wool pants. So the first thing, and I'm going to put screenshots of all this in the video. The first thing that I sold on Friday was I sold a Honey Love bra, which wasn't that profitable, but I still pick up the Honey Love bras because they do sell quickly if I find them, and they're in good condition. The next thing I sold was a J. Crew blouse, and not for a lot, but I only paid $2. Most of my items I only pay between $2 and $3 for. Okay, The next thing I sold was a Ralph Lauren blazer coat. I will put a screenshot of that. And it sold for $27. And I paid $3 for it. And this is $27 plus shipping. So the buyer paid $41.82. And it was a wool silk blend blazer. They got a pretty good deal on that. I don't mind because I buy things at such a low price for $2 or $3. I don't mind taking a hit within reason. So I'm not going to lose money, of course, but I'm going to double, triple my money. So 3 into 27 to me is not too bad. Next thing I got was a Mountain Hardwear men's puffer jacket. And this was from the Goodwill bins. And it sold for $50. I took an offer of $50, $65.93 with shipping. And it is a down jacket. So, let's see. Next thing I sold was a pair of the Sperry sneakers. And they were those kind that are covered in calf hair slip-ons. They sold for only $15, which is pretty good. 3 into 15, which is not a very good sale, but it was okay. Next thing I sold was an Eileen West robe, cotton robe. Now this one had a flaw in it. I'm trying to think of what the flaw was, but it sold for $25 plus shipping. So that, yeah, it had a little small hole in it, and it also had a marker stain, like a Sharpie marker stain on it, but it still sold for $25. And I paid $25 plus shipping, which is not too shabby. Let's see. Oh, this one I woke up to and I was like, wow, this kind of like started the day really well. I sold a pair of Filson Seattle pants, size 40. These were thick pants. They are wool whipcord, like not just wool. They were like seriously thick pants. Cargo, they're meant for like hunting, I believe, in the snow. I don't know, I don't hunt and I don't live near the snow, but they sold for, I took an offer. I could have waited, but you know, I paid $2 for these pants and somebody offers me $100, I'm gonna take it. So yeah, they paid $100 plus shipping. And these are going to the North Pole, Alaska, where they certainly need these more so than in Texas. Yeah, so Filson, and they were like vintage too. I think they even had a few holes. And anytime there's a hole in something, you know, I disclose it that there's holes, you know. But, you know, people are still gonna buy them. Even, you know, I try to fix holes, but these were like really heavy pants. And I thought by mending the hole would make it look even worse, you know. I don't know, they would just, there's those little bitty tiny holes, you know, that you can barely see unless you're like really looking up close, and nobody looks that close. And they were also lined, so it's not like they were gonna get cold right away with this little hole, but you know, anyway, so that was good. Going to Alaska, perfect, you know, because I guess somebody in Texas didn't need these wool pants. Yeah. Okay, so next I sold a Torrid sweater, and I paid $1.49 for this sweater, and it sold for $16 plus shipping. And Yeah, I had that one for a while, since October. So October, yeah, too long. But it was one of those fitted type sweaters, and so it took a little bit longer to sell. And it was a 1X. So next, I sold a pair of Vince pants, size 14 women's. These were super nice pants. I don't have a place to wear them, or I would keep them, but I don't wear slacks anywhere, you know. I wear jeans or shorts, or yeah, that's pretty much it. So these were all from the Goodwill outlet. They were $2, and they sold for $25 plus shipping. So I was happy to take that offer. I think I had them listed a little bit higher, but you know, 25. I think they were maybe 35. Yeah, and the thing about offers, when you take an offer on eBay, they can't put your coupon on top of that, which makes some people a little angry, but you can't use the coupon. And a best offer, you know, that's double dipping. Let me know in the comments, do you accept coupons on top of, you know, offers that you take? Because that just seems a little bit wrong, but I don't know. Let me know what you think. All right, next I sold a pair of J. Crew flats. They were like fake snakeskin color. I paid $3 for these and sold for $19 plus shipping. And then next I sold a blazer, and it is linen and wool, and I paid $1.65 for this blazer. It's a men's blazer, and it sold for $25 plus shipping. And then today on eBay I sold, let me pull that up. This morning I sold a pair of Sebago loafers. They're penny loafers. They're men's. They are super nice shoes. I took an offer of $38 plus shipping, and I paid $2 for them. They were they're really nice shoes. I'm sure if you bought them, they would be like $200. I don't know. But they are very well made shoes, hand sewn penny loafers. Don't pass on those. Next we have a pair of Zara jeans, and I paid $1.68. I bought these in January of this year, and they just sold for $17.10 plus shipping. And another awesome sale today were these alligator shoes, which I've never sold alligator shoes before, ever, that I can recall. These I picked up at the Ben's for $2. They're Belvedere dress shoes, size 11, black crocodile leather, and they sold for $75 plus shipping. I had them listed for $150, but 2 into 75, I'll take that all day. And yeah, they're like super expensive shoes. If you buy them new, probably like $300 or $400 shoes made of alligator. And I sold a little sweater, rough yellow, which I don't pick up anymore. This is an old item I've had for a while, and I paid $4 for it, and it sold for $14.40. And so I was happy to see that go, since I've had it a while. I don't even know how long I've had it, because that was back before I started putting the date in the SKU. If you're not putting the date in the SKU, I highly suggest it, because when you delist, you're gonna lose track of when you bought things or when you listed it, and is very helpful. Slacks. And I don't know, would I pick up halogen slacks? I think it depends on the style. These were a cute style. They, I paid $3 for them and they sold for $32. My net earnings was $25.60. So 3 into 25, not too shabby. Okay, next I sold an American Eagle sweater, men's, and I picked this up, I don't know where, probably the Benz. It's over $29, and my net earnings were $23. So American Eagle, and it was 100% cotton. That's why I picked it up, and it looked kind of vintage, so I picked that one up. I don't pick up all American Eagle anymore. I used to, but some of it sits too long. Clark sandals. I got these at the Benz for $2, and they were a size 10, which is a big size, which in my experience, the larger shoe sizes sell better. This was I made $18. They sell for $23, and I made $18.40. So 2 into 18 on those Clark sandals. I don't pick up all Clark sandals, but if they're in good condition, I do pretty much pick up everything Clark. Sells pretty well for me. Next, I have a Cole Haan pair of men's sneakers, and I paid $2 for these sneakers, and they are like leather, and they sold for $20, and I made 2 into $16. So those are Cole Haan. These are trendy sneakers, so I do pick them up if they're in good condition. Cole Haan is a pretty good brand to keep your eye out for. Not all Cole Haan will sell for a lot, but they typically sell well-made items, shoes, and purses too. Cole Haan sells really good purses too, made of leather. Okay, next we have a pair of Dolce Vita sandals. They sold for $18 minus posh fees, and they were a faux suede. I paid $3 for these sandals, and Dolce Vita, I don't know if I would pick up all Dolce Vita. If you can get them for $2 or $3, I would pick them up. This next item sat for a long time, I think because it was just pretty plain. Yeah, I had this sweater for a long time, but it was new with tags. It was Ralph Lauren. It was a black sweater, but it had nothing significant, it was just kind of plain. It's over $24 minus Poshmark fees. I got $19.20 from that sweater. Let's see. Next, I sold a Torrid blouse, and I've had this one for a long time. I don't know why it set so long. I think that with the relist delist thing going on with my Nifty, that some of my older posh items are selling that wouldn't have sold, like this Torrid blouse that I've had for so long, and it sold for $10 minus the $3 fee. I made $7, and I probably paid $2, so I was just happy to see it go. Next, I sold a bundle, and these these, this was a bundle of 4 items, and they were very, very old. I mean, I've had these for probably like at least 2 years. So when somebody sent me an offer for this bundle on Poshmark, I was happy to see them go, to free up space for more items in my storage room. My garage is where I store everything. So I sold this bundle. It was a pea coat and then 3 blouse, like work type blouse. These two of these tops were actually mine. So when something I sell, like, you know, that I had for something I sold, you know, I had in my closet and I wore it to work, and I don't really consider it cost of goods because I've had it for probably 10 years. I've had these tops. Yeah, at least 10 years I've had these tops. So they were mine. One of them I got at a garage sale, and the other one I got at this coat I got was the most expensive thing, and it was $8. So not a lot of money there, but it's moving things, and that's important. You got to keep stuff moving, and that stuff was in my garage way too long. Okay, next we have a pair of Zara women's yellow pants, and they were linen and cotton, and that's why I picked them up. They were size small, which, you know, probably hurt. They were $2 and they sold for $14, and I made $11.05. Not a great profit, but no. Next I have a pair of Scotch and soda pants. They're men's pants. They sold for $20, minus Poshmark fees, $16, and I paid $2 for them. I don't know, Scotch and soda, I don't know if that's selling for such a great profit anymore. So always look up things if you're not sure. I'm not sure about Scotch and soda anymore. Next one was an awesome sale. It is a Mountain Hardwear sweatshirt, women's. It was an extra large, which is great, and it was $3, and it sold for $41 minus Poshmark fees. So I made about $30 off of that. Mountain Hardwear, I always pick up, especially if it's in good condition. Mountain Hardwear is a sought after brand right now. That could change and learn. So that was my sales on Poshmark. Next, I want to show you my few sales that I made on Mercari, and I also have one going out on Depop, which is very rare. Very rare. I sold a pair of snow boots, yay, on Mercari. So they're by UFOs, I don't know. UFOs makes flip-flops, but these were winter boots, and they are called the Recovery Comfort Boots. They sold for $44 and plus shipping, and I paid I think I paid $5 for those boots. I would pick up UFOs. I would pick them up if I found them again. The flip-flops, the boots, they're very comfortable and sought after right now. Could that change? Yes. So, you know, I've sold a few things on Depop, but I'm still trying to figure Depop out. I don't put everything over there, but yeah, I put the things that I think would sell. I think Depop is a younger crowd. They're looking for more style-based pieces, which is good. I like that because then I can take something that probably wouldn't sell on like eBay because I feel like people on Depop are looking at the style and not the brand, which is good. So I bought this skirt, very cute vintage skirt, and it was patchwork, and I put it on this cool model, virtual model, and it sold for $28, and there's no fees on Depop, so I like that. It was a beautiful skirt, vintage Fool, P-H-O-O-L, 100% cotton, broomstick skirt, patchwork. I used the keywords like Y2K, abstract, colorful, vintage, and it sold on Depop. So yeah, let me know how you make sales on Depop. I don't make a lot of sales, but usually they're like style-based pieces over there. Yeah, so it was a great weekend for sales, and I hope you learned something about reselling from this video and what is selling for me. I feel like I've learned so much from the YouTube community, and I don't make a dime off making these videos. I don't make a dime, and it does take a lot of time, but that's okay. And I enjoy making videos because what I learned so far about reselling, I learned from other people on YouTube. How to do things. How to do things, how to resell, how to make a business online from my home to supplement my teacher retirement. And my business is growing. So I have a lot to be thankful for from the YouTube community because I wouldn't have known as much. I wouldn't be here talking to y'all because I wouldn't know how to do things. So it's important to just keep at it. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is possible. After, I'm just reselling clothing, purses, shoes from the Goodwill outlet, from thrift stores. Again, I don't pay up for things, $2 to $3 an item. For the most part, I don't pay up for items. I'm not saying that you shouldn't pay up for items, but you really have to know if you're going to pay up for items, if it's going to sell, and comping those items. So, please like and subscribe to my video, and I will continue making these videos. Thanks for watching.